Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes and
Moose Mike.
so welcome back to all our returners and hi to any newbies. It is so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while and if you like what you see, give us a thumbie. They are free. Now, before we tell you what we're doing here, I have just literally scoffed something to eat, so if I'm a little bit, I do apologise, but I needed to eat. Okay, so we are filming this on, can you believe it, Saturday the 21st. You're not seeing this until Thursday the 26th. And that is because Mike had a day off yesterday on Friday, and so did I. And both of us managed to smash out this week's episode of
Tile of the Week, Thursday.
the day after the last one. So we are nearly a week ahead of ourselves, which never happens with Tile of the Week. We smashed our way through this one. We needed to get it done. Mike has had 2 weeks of very little crochet time, and the only crochet time he has gotten is doing these tiles for the past couple of weeks. So he was determined to get it done so that this week, hopefully, because we're filming on Saturday, we've still got the week to go yet, he has got something to show you for crochet catch-up, which he hasn't been a part of for 2 weeks. So, fingers crossed, things are looking like they're going in the right direction. But let's touch wood and not tempt fate, because in this household, best laid plans never come to fruition. Let's not curse ourselves. Let's just go on the high that we're on at the minute, okay? So, Tile of the Week Thursday. What is this, you say, if you are new? Well, let me give you the backstory. And guys who have been here every week, I do apologise, but I've got to explain to the newbies. Not July of 2023, but July of 2022, I was gifted this book, 100 Crochet Tiles, edited by Sarah Callard. In Happy Mail, it was on my Amazon wishlist. When I received it, I got excited, I Manfa'd it, I got carried away, and I said that I was going to do all 100 tiles, one every week until it was done. Now, Mike and I have taken a couple of weeks off, and it was around Christmas time of 2022, and we've been back at it ever since. We have got over the halfway point because I believe this is tile 64, but it'll be down in the title. I'm not counting. That's a lot of tiles to count. But I believe it's week 64. We are coasting our way back down to 100 and to the completion of this. Now, if you do get this book, there is no pressure to. You do you. I would actually advise you not to. Just be warned that it is a very badly put together book. The pages fall out. The spine on this may as well not even be a spine. It is useless. So a lot of people that have joined in have got their books spiral bound, or they have got the ebook version on a Kindle or similar device so that they can have it electronically. Means they can magnify things and do all the, bits they need to be able to follow. Now, this book does give you written instructions, but it also gives you charts. So it does help you in your pattern reading and chart reading skill set. And it does go through a variety of different crochet techniques the further into the book that you go. We have had everything from traditional to colour work where you're carrying your yarn. We have done overlay mosaic. We are in the section at the moment that is inset mosaic. We are, after we get through the inset section, I think we've still got a few to do, we're going into tapestry crochet. And then we eventually get to the tiles that aren't actually square. We'll be making different kinds of shapes. Probably combining all of the things we have learned along the way up until that point. I don't know. I haven't gone that far into it. But Mike and I have made it known that we prefer overlay mosaic to inset mosaic. And again, guys, I know you have heard the explanation, but there may be somebody watching that doesn't know that there's even 2 types of mosaic because they've never looked into it. Overlay mosaic is where you crochet into the back loops only, leaving the front loop open and exposed and live to be used in subsequent rows above, which means your double crochets are able to drop down 1 or 2 rows to pick up that front loop and be worked into that front loop. So it's laying over stitches that you have already created to make the lovely mosaic patterns. Mike and I really like overlay mosaic. We are currently doing inset mosaic, which Mike and I are not a fan of. I think this could be one of those either or type situations. You either love it or you hate it. You prefer one type to the other type. That is just my opinion and my experience, because some of you guys have given us feedback as well, telling me that you agree you prefer overlay, or you're one of the people in the other camp that actually prefer inset. And each to their own. You do the crochet you love, guys. That's what we're always going to encourage here on the channel, because crochet is a fibre art that you should enjoy and love to do. So that hasn't always been the case on this tile journey. I will leave the playlist of all previous tiles down below, and there are some episodes where Manfa and Mike are not happy bunnies, and there have been plenty of tiles that have caused mantrums and throwing things across the room and really not wanting to even pick up our hook and do anything else because it has killed the joy of crochet for the week. But there have been a small number of tiles that have actually not been too bad, and dare we say it, enjoyable. There aren't many of them, but there are a couple. So if you want to see this whole journey right from the beginning until where we are now, that playlist will be down in the description box for you to peruse and watch and enjoy at your pleasure. But inset mosaic is where you chain and skip stitches, and then a couple of rows up you drop down your doubles and work into those skipped stitches, so you fill the hole, you inset your stitches into the gap that is left. I hope that makes sense. I try to make it as simple to understand as I possibly can, but any questions you may have, please ask them down in the comments, and I shall do my best to explain it in a way that you understand a bit clearer what it is that I'm trying to let you know. Now, we have done a few Carol Ibbotson tiles for the last few weeks. She has primarily been doing inset crochet in the round. This tile that we're showcasing today is in the round, going around in a circle. We've just looked ahead to next week, which we'll get into a bit more in a minute, and we're actually going to be doing inset mosaic but in rows, backwards and forwards, in lines. We're not going round and round and round, we're going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So that'll be interesting next week. But we've also just discovered that there's 46 rows next week, whereas some of these in the rounds have only been 20, 21. So we're doubling the work, but we're only going backwards and forwards. So we'll see how we feel about that next week, because right now we need to talk about this one that we have just completed. It is called On a Slant, like I said, designed by Carol Ibbotson. This is her version. She used a mustardy gold and a black by the looks of it. Quite a stark contrast to depict there. Now, last week I said that these tiles are up for grabs. And I said, if you want it, you need to be the first to email me. The first to email me gets them. And the lucky recipient of this week's tile is our dear, dear friend Rita over at Lena's Designs. Rita, I will link her channel down in the description box. Please take 2 minutes to go over, check Rita out, give her some yarny love. It's what we like to encourage here. And Rita's favourite colour is blue. So we have both put blue in this tile because I was actually here to supervise Mike and tell him we are using blue this time, Mike, please. Anyway, all joking aside, Rita, when we show them, I hope you really like them. And we have actually managed to get them almost the same size. So we are getting better in these endeavours for you guys. We're not perfect. There is still a little bit of warping in mine, but a little bit of light blocking, Rita, they should be all right, okay? So, and obviously, Rita, bear in mind, we do have Rolo and Melmo, and I know you're allergic to cats, so you may want to give them a little bit of a wash before you use them, lovely, and be careful when you open the package because of allergies. But yeah, you know, and you've received stuff from us before, so that shouldn't even be a thing. But I just feel, seeing as I'm putting this out for the world to see, that I need to remind you of the cat that we have.
Especially in my tile.
Yes.
Because he loves hugging me all night long.
Yeah. Melmo is like right there, needs to be in the thick of it, and actually really irritating Mike to the point of absolute. But that's just their little thing that they've got to work out between them. I'm not getting involved in that. So yes, on A Slant, she recommended 2 colours. She recommended a worsted or Aran weight yarn, which is a 4 weight. We both did that. We used 2 colours. We used worsted weight Aran. She recommended a 3.5mm hook. No, Carol, because when I use small hooks with Aran, I crochet so tight that I have mega warpage. It doesn't work for Manfa. And even last week, doing a 4 wasn't big enough. So this week, Manfa used a 5mm. It worked out a little bit better, but I reckon I should have gone up to my 5.5. But I'll know for next week. And I think you used your 5.5 because I nicked your 5mm hook. But it worked.
It worked, and it, with mine being a hook size bigger, it made it near enough the same size.
Near enough the same size and flatter. There isn't as much warping in Mike's as there is in mine. But I do crochet ridiculously tight, and
So do I.
But I think my tension, I'm not mindful of my tension on the tiles because the tiles aren't the most eagerly wanting to be working on thing for Manfa, so she kind of doesn't put as much consideration into what she's doing, and I should, because these have been claimed by Rita, and I should have been a little bit more thoughtful when I wasn't. So I apologise, Rita. A little bit of light blocking on mine, lovey. All right, you'll be fine. It'll be okay. Bearing in mind these tiles that we're sending out, they're probably not going to go out until after Christmas. Although if you have put your name on a list that I've got going on, I may just send them with the other thing that I'm sending for the list that you're on, and I'm being evasive because I did a video, not this week just gone, no, a couple of weeks ago now, where I said you might want to watch it in case you miss out. I've actually only got 16 people on that list, and I know that there would be double that, if not triple that, if everyone had watched that video like I asked them to, and they haven't. So I'm going to leave it another week or so, and then I'll do this is what you would have missed out on if I wasn't being really nice right now and telling you to get your list on it this way. Rita will know what I mean because she's on my list for that, so I'll probably send them. Those that are on that list, if they've claimed tiles, the tiles will come with that item that I am sending out. Let's stop confusing you, shut up and actually get on with this week's tile. So yes, this week's tile was 20.
20.
Yeah, 20 rounds. Again, it was worked in the round. But last week's Shining Star was a pig to get through. Mike and I did not enjoy it at all.
It took me 3 days.
This week, we just, within a couple of hours for me, bit longer for Mike, but still in one sitting, we managed to complete the tile. Because for whatever reason, it just wasn't quite so difficult to wrap our head around, and it went really quickly. And I don't know what the difference is. And they both turned out pretty good, if I do say so myself. So yeah, this one was oh, well, that was all right. That was better than I expected. I haven't really got a lot to moan about with this one.
Nope.
Only moan at myself for not going up to a 5.5, but I now know. It's fine. I'll do that next week. So yeah, there's not really a lot of feedback to give you guys. It's the same, going in the round, doing the inset, same designer as the last couple. But this one just seemed to fly by. So happy days. We've got it done and dusted and ticked off the list. Filmed early, which means we're not going to be filming this next Wednesday because it's been done today, which means we're going to have an extra evening of crochet. Like I said, all being well, touch wood, fingers crossed, all the rest of it. So yeah, you're going to show them yours? There you go. It's nearly true to colour. Not quite, but nearly. What's going on there?
Yeah, it wouldn't pull through. But it's the back, so it's fine.
So minimal warpage, but there is a
very
little
minimal warpage. But yeah, I think you're always going to get sort of warp on this corner,
Because you're yanking your
yarn up, but
from 2 rows below.
Yeah, that's mine. And the pattern is true to pattern.
Oh, and Mike's idea of only chaining 2 rather than chaining 3 does work. I've trialed it on the last 2 and it works a lot better. Litza tried it on her tile last week and it worked better for her.
Yeah.
So if you are following along with us, if you ever get this book and make these tiles, the biggest top tip is do not chain 3, skip 2. Just chain 2, skip 2, and it will go much smoother for you.
It keeps it all tighter and neater.
Yeah, and it kind of stops some of the warpage. It doesn't stop it completely, but it stops it enough for it to make a difference for us to even bring it up to you.
And it also sort of makes when you do the drop down over the top of it, it just keeps it more in line.
It's not quite so baggy and
Yeah.
flappy, if that makes sense. You've got a more streamlined gap to put those streamlined stitches in, whereas with that one extra chain, it kind of...
Yeah.
And it just... Yeah.
Yeah, it gets a bit wobbly.
So, any of the lovelies that were joining in that have had to take a hiatus that might be picking up these tiles again, just chain 2 in your insets. Don't chain 3. It will work much better for you. That's the top tip from Mike. And here's mine. I used more of a navy and I used a very light grey, like a silvery grey. And there's mine. Now, you can see there's still a little bit of warpage, but it's nothing like last week's. My goodness, last week's looks like I had crumpled it up and shoved it in a very tight space and it had been living there for a year. And then when I gave it the light of day, it was like... It was...
Mine was as well, but like if I show you, not as much warpage because I went up a hook size.
Yeah.
And also my crochet is very tight, and actually he's
because
become
he
tighter
learned,
than Manfa's.
Yeah, he learned from me, who is a tight crocheter anyway, because when I'm stitching, I pull the yarn to make the stitch tighter and more uniform that I've just done. So I'm always stitch, yank, stitch, yank, stitch, yank, stitch, yank. Mike does it slightly different. He stitches and dinks. He dinks that working yarn to pull that in tighter. So he's stitch, dink, stitch, dink, stitch, dink.
And I think the dink makes it slightly tighter, so I have to go up a hook size to be the same size.
So my bad habits in my crochet has transferred over to my... Just like when you're teaching someone to drive, guys.
But
you're supposed to have both hands on the wheel, not one on the wheel, one on the stick shift, as you guys call it. We call it the gear stick, but you know, whatevs. If you're teaching someone to drive and you're always one hand on one on the other, when they go to do their test, it'll be points against them because you're supposed to have your hands 10 and 2 o'clock at all times. So the transference of bad habits clearly is the same in crochet as well. But it's fine. Mike works his way around it, or he learns to loosen up a little bit, or he adjusts whatever he needs to as these things go on to kind of correct it a little bit. Anyway, so Rita, I hope you like. There is a small difference in size, but not a lot.
No.
So whatever you're planning to do with these, when you've done whatever you're doing with them, send me a picky so that I can see what they grow up to be. I ask all the people that get tiles from us to do that. And I hope it works out for you and that you enjoy them, because otherwise they'd just be sat in a bag here, guys, gathering dust. We have no plans. It's literally just for a video on this channel. We could put them all together in a blanket like other people are doing, but we just don't want to, because they're all different shapes. Well, they will be all different shapes by the time we get to the end of the book. They're different sizes. They're all different yarn weights, because we've done 3 weight and 4 weight, and I think I've even done a 2 weight one. So, you know, and there's mixtures of fibres. No, thank you. It's too much of a headache, and I don't like joining squares either. Ugh. So we would rather you lovelies get a little bit of Mike and I to cherish and turn into whatever you want as a little memento, little keepsake. And we get to spread the yarny love in that way as well. Now, one thing I have forgotten to mention is this was never meant to be a crochet along. It kind of just happened. Other people wanted to join in with us along the way. Some people have done it from the very beginning. Some have hopped on part way through, and then they're going to catch up, or they're not even going to bother catch up. They're just doing it from the point that they joined. Some people have had to take breaks or hiatuses for various other things that are going on in their current circumstances. They might jump back in, they might choose not to, whatever the case may be. Lots of other people have joined in at some point or are still doing this with us. And if you want to find out who, please, at the top of YouTube, put in the search bar hashtag Tile of the Week Thursday, and anyone who has used that hashtag will pop up and you will be able to see who else is joining in. Because there's hours upon hours. This is 64 weeks of it, guys. That is at least 64 videos from Mike and I. I've done a community tab post for weeks now, so all those community posts are going to be in there as well. There is a lot for you to wade through. So if you want to, feel free. If you don't, I understand. And also, I've just mentioned my community tab, but please do pop over and look at that when you have finished watching this video, because as always, the beautiful Josephine sends her completed tile every week. Now, I'm jumping the gun a bit this week because obviously it's only Saturday. Last week's tile of the week was only 2 days ago. I don't know for sure if I am definitely going to get a picture from Josephine because we don't know what's going to happen over the next few days. But I'm pretty sure that if she has done it, she will send me that picture because she does every week without fail. So if Josephine has sent me a tile picture, it will be on my community tab. Go over and tell her how wonderful she is for joining in, completing it and sharing it with us, because she is super talented. And also Tracy. Now last week Tracy didn't get her pictures to me in time, so I will definitely have Tracy's pictures from last week. But bear in mind, Tracy is starting right from the beginning, and she only got her book a few weeks ago. So I think she's only up to tile 5. She has got a long way to go before she gets to where we currently are. But that's fine, not an issue. So there will be Tracy's pictures of the beginning tiles that she has completed, and if she gets more, there might even be a second picture from Tracy of this week's catch-up ones that she has done. Neither Josephine nor Tracy have content. They are wonderful yarny friends who subscribe to the channel. So that's my way of showcasing their work, because they don't have a channel of their own that they have content. So I put it there for you to see. And also Mike and I's will be there because sometimes our camera doesn't show colours accurately, and I like to take a photo to give you a better idea of what the colours used actually look like. So yeah, check out the community tab, guys. Now, what is coming up next week? Well, coming up next week is Tiled Bricks, and the designer is again Carol Ibbotson. She is again requesting 2 colours. She is again requesting 4-weight or Aran. Excuse me. She is again requesting a 3.5mm hook. Not happening, love. We're both going to be on 5.5s, I think. And like I said, we are not going in the round with next week's. We're going backwards and forwards, like a typewriter. We're not on a merry-go-round. We're on the typewriter next week. And like I said, there are actually 46 rows. So, but that'll be good for Mike, because I have some mosaic patterns upstairs, and if he ever buys a mosaic pattern, the chart for this one actually highlights the repeat, because a lot of times in mosaic you'll do your build-up rows, your start rows, then you'll do a section of rows, and they'll say repeat that twice, repeat that 3 times, just those few rows. That is your repeated pattern. So you do it once, you do those same rows a second time or a third, however many times they ask, and then you'll have a few finish off rows just to tidy the pattern up and make it aesthetically how they wanted it. So this is good for Mike because he will be able to see exactly what that repeat is, and if he was to make a bigger project than just a square like this one, he would be able to do the repeats however many times he wants to make as big a creation or masterpiece as he wants, because he will understand that it's just those rows you do over and over and over until you finish off. And it looks or hopefully will look like that. A kind of mosaic version of the basket weave stitch, in my opinion. But what did she call it? Tiled bricks. That's next week's. So we will come back and let you know how different we found it going backwards and forwards rather than round and round and round. That one is up for grabs. Nobody's claimed it. Whoever's first to send me an email, they're yours. Okay? So ready, steady, go. Anyway, guys, we've taken up enough of your time today. Please head back here tomorrow for Crochet Catch Up, which hopefully this one will be here for this week, because he should, in theory, have had a lot more crochet time. But
yeah,
you never know. The kids are off this week.
Already started.
Yeah, but the kids are off this week from school. So even though we don't have the daily routine of showers and homework and lunches to make and uniform to make sure everyone's got and all of that jazz, because they're home, everything kind of gets delayed and the routine goes out the window. So fingers crossed, Mike is here tomorrow for Crochet Catch Up, I think. And I might just say to him, well, even if you've got nothing to show, you can sit there and look at me show my stuff, because they miss you. They want to see you. Okay? So, thank you for watching this week's Tile of the Week Thursday. We really do appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow in Crochet Catch Up. But until then,
stay safe.
Be kind.
Look after one another.
Get some good quality time in with your loved ones.
Get some good quality crafting time in.
We will see you in the next one.
Or around the YouTube streets.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Love ya.